All right, we're back. Tuck had to change his shirt.
I can't. Okay. Now,
Getting a
for
little sweaty
people,
in that last shirt you were wearing, dude. What was going on
what?
there?
Okay, it's Minnesota. Okay. So we've had a winter that was like, it wasn't bad, but it was like, cold enough that we just need warmth. So today I got outside, it was like 55, 60 degrees. And of course, at the end of the night when I was coaching baseball, I had to put on like at least a sweatshirt, but I had like one of those long sleeve Under Armours under it. And I'm sitting here going, oh my gosh. And I was a
Yeah,
sweaty mess. So yes, I
yeah.
did change my shirt. I put on a t-shirt. I still got my Wolves hat on. We're kind of the same, but we're different. And that means we're going to date two, Manny. So hey, what a good segue, man. Let's
Yeah, let's
go.
let's go to day two. So just to kind of recap the last match, because we went through the Roman Punk Seth match pretty quickly there, even though it's a
Yeah.
huge, huge match. So you've got I got Seth winning the match. Who did you say was gonna win?
I think Seth's gonna win this because he Seth Rollins is so over and he is
Yeah.
a great wrestler. I mean, he all three of these guys can win this match. I won't be surprised if any of these guys win. So, I'm just gonna say Seth because it's kind of Seth's time. It's Seth
Yeah.
freaking Rollins' time. It's
Yeah.
WrestleMania.
I think he
Yeah,
needs this match more than the
right,
other two guys do.
right.
I
And
think he needs this match.
he's gonna come out in Vegas with his best. I mean, how flamboyant his robes
Yep.
are and stuff, dude. He's gonna have something planned out. He is gonna be so styling, so profiling, so. Oh, did I use a Ric Flair term in WrestleMania weekend? That means he's gonna win. No, it's his time. I think the glitz, the glamour, the lights, everything else, it's Seth freaking Rollins' time. He'll win this. But like I said, I don't think Paul leaves with any one of the three. Somebody comes
Okay.
back, okay, you make fun of me for saying Brock, but you know what I mean. Like, I don't know if he's gonna just kind of realize, like, I like all three of these guys, and then does it become a stable even? I mean, I don't know, Manny. I mean, I'm so
See,
excited for the main event, and this is CM Punk's first main event, so why not have just an unbelievable match like we're gonna see Saturday night, Manny? I don't want to wish away any of the matches on the first day, but I cannot wait for this one.
I I think Seth wins this match, and I think he pins Punk to win it. And
Ooh,
I think Paul as well. The reason why I think he pins Punk is because I don't I can't envision WWE wanting Roman Reigns to be pinned at WrestleMania 2 years in a row.
makes
So
sense.
that's my one reason for thinking, okay, I got Seth winning this match, and I think he pins Punk to end up winning it and coming out on top, and kind of giving him a sort of a 2-1 edge in that little
Sure.
rivalry that we know is there's some legitimate heat between the two. I think they've been really professional, and they've been, I think, cordial certainly during this whole feud
Works. They
behind the
know it
scenes.
works. Right.
Yeah, yeah, but I think there's clearly probably still a little bit of animosity between the two, just because it was legit for while Punk was gone and everything. But yeah, I think Seth wins and pins Punk to do it, and I do think Paul's walking out with Seth, because I think Seth, after having such a terrible WrestleMania weekend last year, between losing the tag team match with, tagging with Cody and losing to Rock and Roman on night one, to losing the world heavyweight title to Drew. Becky, his wife, also lost her title that weekend
Right.
to Rhea. So I think Seth had a terrible WrestleMania weekend last year, and I think fast forward 12 months later, I think Seth is going to steal the show for the whole weekend. So stay tuned for a later prediction in regards to that. But yeah, so I got Seth winning that. So, okay, so let's move on to night two officially. So first match of night two, Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez defending their women's tag team titles against Bayley and Lyra Valkyria. I've got Liv and Raquel retaining this. I think they're going to go on a nice long run here. I think this is just kind of the beginning. of them going on a nice long run as tag team champs in the women's tag division. And it's because of that, but also I think I don't know what to make of this Bailey and Lyra pairing because it kind of feels like, all right, it's been very respectful, and they've wrestled each other a couple of times now, and Bailey won the first one, and then Lyra at the Raw that I went to a couple of weeks ago, Lyra got the best of Bailey in that one. That was for the women's intercontinental title, and after the match, we kind of saw, they Lyra extended her hand out to shake hands with Bailey, and Bailey kind of like brushed it away and just like was not happy. And then she was going to leave the ring. And then she goes back in and just like embraces Lyra. I think that has me kind of wondering if we might be seeing another heel turn from Bailey coming here very soon. And her and Lyra kind of going back and forth on a feud that now goes from kind of a friendly little rivalry to like a legitimate, well, I don't want to say legitimate, because I'm sure they're good behind the scenes, but just kind of a good on-screen like rivalry that becomes very intense that maybe stretches out for a couple of months. So I think because of that, I think Liv and Raquel just winning the tag titles a couple months back, I think this is a time for them to kind of really carry on and hold those titles for a while, and it will open things up for Bailey and Lyra to kind of go on their own little feud after WrestleMania.
I totally contradict myself here. Just stop me in the middle of it then. Um, I love this tag team. Okay, Liv and Raquel. I mean, you
Oh,
have
they're great.
two
So good.
wonderful singles wrestlers that you're able to pair together, and it's yin and yang, right? They're not the same guys. They're not Marty Jannetty and Shawn Michaels, where you kind of mix and match the two, and they're like the same guy or the same wrestler. These two have two totally different skill sets, and each of them work their skill set to an A plus plus every night they're out there. And that's why they work. And I hope
Yeah.
they stay together, Manny. Like you said, if they're able
Well,
to
they
go
got
on a long
history. I mean,
run,
I think this is their third time having the tag titles together.
right, right,
Yeah, so they
right.
got history.
I mean, they are legitimately a fantastic tag team that should be
Mhm.
one of those top tiers, always kind of in the mix. If they, like you said, I hope they keep them together for a long time. We know that Liv is such a strong face individually that she could go back and become a singles wrestler. But look at the women's singles ranks right now. One of them, one of your champions, Lyra's in a tag match. Manny, the viewers don't necessarily know. I hate putting your individual champions in big tag matches. I
Yeah.
just I don't believe in it because how are you going to continue a certain storyline in it, like you mentioned, Manny, by making it some sort of a heel turn by Bailey to turn away from, the hugger and the role model and all this stuff again, and to go to the other side of it. I could see
Which
that
she's
too,
done
but
before with the whole thing with like damage control and getting that started and everything. So Bailey's turned heel before, and I don't see any reason why she wouldn't do it again.
unless you get some sort of outside interference of someone who's gonna take Lyra on afterwards or something, and then Bailey kind of gets in the mix of it, like, hey, what about me? And maybe you end up seeing a triple threat in one of the upcoming. I mean, again, that's you get, and again, folks, you're gonna notice. I like to think ahead, but I just don't see that pairing winning the tag titles. It's just they're not in sync when they're wrestling like you see on the other side of Liv and Raquel. They're just in sync. One is so big and strong, one is so small and quick, Mighty Mouse, and they're so good together. I mean, of course they're going to win this, Manny. And you said there's not going to be a lot of squash matches. This one might actually be, depending on what the storyline is carried out on the other side with Lyra and Bailey. So, interesting way to start kind of the first day. I mean, or second day, you're really gonna maybe see some sort of a storyline plot twist down around the women's intercontinental ranks.
Four, let's be honest, four really strong in ring performers between Liv and Raquel and
Oh,
Bailey and Lyra. All of them are very, very good in the ring.
yes.
I think Lyra's as technically sound as it gets, you know, and I'm not trying to sound like a huge analyst in terms of wrestling, but she's as fun to watch in the ring just from a technical standpoint as there is out there in the women's division. So shout out to her. All right, so we both got Liv and Raquel winning that one. Next one is going to be interesting. I'm wavering on the fence with this one. This is AJ Styles against Logan Paul. I'm I part of me I
You
just have
seeing
this
my side
feeling.
now?
I'm
Are you are you seeing my side? Are you finally seeing my side?
Yes, I am, but I'm still just thinking, and I'm not a huge Logan Paul fan, but I
Right.
just have this feeling that they're trying to push him and putting him in I started really thinking that when they put him in the Elimination Chamber match. I knew he wasn't going to win the match because that's putting him in the main event of WrestleMania 41, which
Sure.
I just I don't think he's ready for that yet. But I do think that putting him on that stage is an indication that they're trying to push for him to eventually get to that level. And AJ Styles is another one of those guys, kind of like Rey Mysterio, where AJ's legacy is already kind of cemented. He's one of the most underrated, I think, underappreciated like professional wrestlers. He's been doing this for so long. He's been really good as a face. He's been really good as a heel. He's just one of those guys that kind of gets underappreciated. So I don't think winning or losing is really going to impact his legacy. But this could be another sort of path for Logan Paul. Even though, again, not a huge fan. Obviously, I'm not going to hide that feeling. Um, but I just feel like they're trying to kind of have Logan Paul ascend, and I think a way to do that is having him get a win over AJ Styles on the biggest stage of them all.
You and I have had this discussion, and you know where I'm
Yeah.
going with this one
Oh,
because
I know. I know.
not just am I an AJ Styles apologist fan, I've been I mean, he's one of those guys that drew me back in when I took a little, rest from wrestling for a while. And I love him so much. I mean, when I look back at pay-per-views and events and old Raws that I missed, he was one of those guys that I was always like, oh, I wonder what he's going to do tonight. I wonder what he's going to do tonight. And I know he's getting long in the tooth. But I also think that with that legacy, and I'm not comparing him to John Cena, Manny, but you know where I'm going with this, that he is not quite a Mount Rushmore guy, but he's down in the, talking of, some of the top 20, top 15 of all time. AJ Styles is in that discussion. He really
Sure.
is. And
Sure.
I
Yeah.
think that he at the top, where he's kind of in that mid to top range right now, I think that he's going to get one more last push, kind of like John Cena is getting now in the next year or so. He doesn't have a whole lot left, but I'll tell you what, he's so good on the camera, on the mic, that I would love to see him as a replacement to like Pat McAfee when he's done, or add him in if, Wade Barrett, some one of those guys moves on. I would love to see AJ because he could
Sure.
be the
Yeah.
heel voice like a Bobby Heenan, a Jesse Ventura, or he could play the good guy side of things, like any of the best, the Lord Alfred Hayeses and the Gorillas and all that stuff. So
Yeah.
I think he's gonna get one last push. Like you said with Logan Paul. He's so over with the fans too, even as a heel. I don't know why. These kids these days love this guy.
They love to
He
hate
makes,
him.
yes,
That's the thing. Yeah.
he makes me want to throw up. And that's a good thing because then obviously he's doing his job well. So Logan Paul, maybe as a person behind the scenes, he might be the coolest dude in the world. And I hope someday I can meet him back, then all that stuff. But for now, he makes me want to vomit. And I see AJ getting a push. He's winning here, Manny Hill. He is going to
Okay.
win in Vegas, bright lights, big city. Kind of like I said with Seth Rollins. This is kind of AJ Styles time. This is kind of one of those things. I know Logan Paul likes all that attention and stuff too, but AJ needs to, yeah, I think he's to get one more push. He wins.
Okay. All right, that's one we'll differ on. Cool, cool. Okay. Next is Fatal Four-Way match for the Intercontinental Championship. Braun Breaker defending against Penta, Finn Balor, and Dominic Mysterio. I'll let you go first, and then I'll give you mine.
Well, Braun Breaker to me is
Love
the
them.
guy who's going to replace Gunther kind of in the world title run thing now. I think that
Mm,
Braun has now proven to us that he has the ability on the mic, in the ring, backstage. People love him. He fits right in. He has the pedigree too. I mean, uncle,
oh yeah.
dad, friends of his dad's. I mean, oh my gosh, you could see it every day he steps in the ring. I love that he's an Intercontinental Champion right now. I love he has gold, but he has bigger and better things. I mean, I'm sorry. He is built. He can move. You saw him spear that goofball. That what was that at the Royal Rumble when he speared that
Oh,
that
ISO
dude that
speed.
yeah.
Yeah,
Dude,
yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't know how that guy's even alive today. I mean, I remember like the day after he was like literally wearing a neck brace. Like that wasn't kayfabe, I don't think anyway. He was really like
I
messed
think it
up.
was kayfabe.
Oh, was
I
it
think it
kayfabe?
was
Okay,
kayfabe.
maybe it
Yeah,
was
I think it
kayfabe. Okay,
was.
sorry. And I'm that guy sitting next to you at Raw that's going, oh my God. But dude, it was so funny just seeing that kid get just smoked. He's got bigger and better things coming. So Bronzo loses match. Um, but who's gonna be the one to take the belt off of him? Okay. Now I'm glad
Yeah.
we did day one first because, is Ray gonna win? Are they both gonna, I always think about that, Manny. I know like the nepotism thing is just rampant in wrestling, and that's okay because that's how wrestling is, right? But I always like think like, does dad lose and then the kid wins? I mean, or maybe dad will be proud of I'm thinking of that angle, right? So like people are like, well, where's Tuck coming from with this stuff? But I really think, kind of like a lot of people that I am friends with and associate with to watch wrestling, even my own son thinks Dom's winning this thing. And yuck, puke, just like Logan Paul, make me want to throw up. He was such a cute little kid. What happened to him, dude? I mean, remember him on the when he was ringside with his sister and his mom, and I was like, "Oh, what a cutie, man! He's just little Ray. I love it." No, he's just a, mustachio jackass that I can't stand, and I don't want him to win. But I think that sets up some fun with him and Finn Balor because that's going bye bye. So Dom wins, but like we're gonna see a spin off with him and Balor. It's gonna be so awesome, man. And everybody's like, "Well, what about Penta? What about Penta, dude?" Wait, because Penta eventually,
Penta
anyway,
doesn't need a title.
no,
Penta
but
does not need a championship because he's so good in the ring and so entertaining that he doesn't need to have a championship, I don't think, to be over
he's
with
gonna
the crowd.
he's gonna end up being part of one of the best tag teams in the WWE because
Yeah.
he and his bro, Ray Phoenix,
Ray Phoenix, yeah.
they're gonna partner up and they're gonna show us. Oh my gosh! I just picked. Oh, together. Oh man, gold coming, Manny. But so I'm not worried about Penta. Like you said, he can go on singles for a while. Him and Ray can do the singles thing for a while. If he loses this, fine. It's a good spot to be in. It shows that he's in the minds of the people in the back. He's people like him. But I like the spinoff with the two fellas. They're right around the same size. Finn's so diabolical sometimes, and then you got the goofball and Dom. Yeah,
I'm
that's what
I'm
I think Dom wins it.
I'm with you. I'm with you on the Braun thing. It's very similar to you mentioned Gunther. Same thing went with Gunther last year, where he lost he dropped the IC title to Sami Zayn,
Yep.
and it was because it was a great moment for Sami to that whole storyline and that feud leading up to his match with Gunther was great last year,
Yep.
and it was okay for Gunther because he was on to bigger and better things, which was the World
Right.
Heavyweight title, which he got at SummerSlam, I think it was last year. So yeah, I think Braun is headed down. Braun Breaker's headed down a similar path,
Yep.
where bigger and better things are ahead. Um, and yeah, I'm with you. I think Dom wins this match. I think Dom becomes IC champ. I don't think he's ever been I don't think Dom's ever had a singles title, has he?
I don't think he's had any singles titles at all. I mean, no, because was he ever the U.S. I mean, if you guys know, comment. I mean, we're not going to go pull up YouTube or Google while we're talking. So, if you want to call us out, please do. But I don't think he has had a singles
I don't
title at
think
all,
he's
Manny. No.
Yeah, I don't think he's ever been a singles champ. Could be wrong on that, but yeah, I think this is, and I'm with you on the sort of the branch off, the spin off to a feud with Finn, because that feels like that's been brewing for a while. It feels like sort of the demise of the Judgment Day as a whole
Right.
has been
Right.
brewing for a few months now. Certainly, I think it obviously started with Rhea and Damian leaving, getting sort of kicked out of the group last year. And
Yep.
it's just kind of, I think the whole bit with the Judgment Day has kind of plateaued a little bit. And I think it's time to sort of break that group off and turn it into a feud with Dom and Finn, because it feels like it's been brewing for a while. And those guys maybe duke it out for the IC title over the next couple of months, and maybe Finn wins it from Dom, but I think this will be a moment where Dom wins it. I don't know how the crowd's going to react to that, because there's so much heat on Dom now.
Right.
Like, he can't even cut a promo without getting booed out of the building, which I think is awesome. But I
Love
think
it. Love it.
I think Dom has done such a great job of becoming this just absolute hated character. Um, and just that the feud with his dad is still just kind of an underlying thing that I think will kind of continue on to. But yeah, I got Dom winning this match. I'm with you, and him walking out with the IC title. Okay. Fourth match of night 2 is Damian Priest, the aforementioned Damian Priest, against Drew McIntyre. Shout out to Drew for he was doing an interview with somebody, and he had his eye patch on, the kayfabe eye patch on, with, and he was rocking a University of Tennessee. I got this Tennessee kind of skull cap on, and Drew was just rocking like a Tennessee, like, just like little trucker hat or something. Awesome. So shout out to Drew for rocking Rocky Top. This is a hard one for me to call. I kind of feel like Drew is going to win this one because Damian got the best of him last year. Drew won the world title from Seth, had it for about 5 minutes, tried to taunt CM Punk, and out comes Damian with the briefcase and cashing in and walking out of WrestleMania with the world title. So I think Drew kind of gets a little bit of revenge here. But I think that this could be something that continues on for a few more
Mhm.
months. This is a rivalry that remains intense, kind of like the Drew Punk bit
Right.
last year that went on for pretty much, started at Royal Rumble and went all the way to Bad Blood and kind of beyond that. Um, which was that was such a great feud. Bravo
That
to
was
both of
fun.
those guys
That
for
was
that. It
fun.
was so much fun. It was awesome. And that Hell in a Cell match at Bad Blood was amazing. Just absolutely incredible. Um, so yeah, I think Drew wins this match, but I think this is kind of the beginning of something that could go on for maybe a couple more months between those two guys, because they're both really good in the ring. They're both great characters. And yeah, I like how this can turn into a nice rivalry. It's a Sin City street fight officially, so we're gonna see probably some weapons, and probably see some blood get spilled a little bit too. But I think it's just the beginning between those two guys.
Even though I've grown out my beard just like that handsome Scottish warrior, like my wife Erica says, I don't see him winning, Manny. I
Okay.
don't, and the reason why I say that is because Damian Priest has been getting his ass handed to him,
Yeah.
except for the choke slam onto the windshield. It's been like it seems like all Drew. I mean, he's been like controlling these like promos and stuff, and he's just been laughing and he, kind of diabolical. I mean, use that word again himself, and kind of a little more Drew than usual. He kind of has really been kind of psychotic, and again, I love it. And I think he's trying to get a little more Healy in this one. But Damian Priest, man. I mean, he's been taking a whipping, and I think he feels like maybe he's been the forgotten one a little bit. And come on, man, a street fight. I mean, I'm taking Timu Undertaker in that one over, if we were over in Scotland and it was like, some sort of Scottish street fight, you know, I'd worry because Roddy Piper back in the day, you look back at the him and Goldust and all that, like I said, I got the wrestling historian side of the equation, and boy, that was something. But this is like Sin City street fight. It sounds like something that you'd have in a back lot. And if you look at Damian Priest, he just looks like that tough SOB that you probably don't want to mess with on the, I'm going Priest kind of gets revenge on a little bit of this crap he's been handed the last month or month and a half. So Dame's gonna come out and win this one.
Okay. All right. So that's another one that we differ on a little bit. Okay. Fifth match of night two is the triple threat match for the Women's World Championship. Io Sky defending against Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley. This, I think, Tuck, this has been the hardest match for me to predict because I can see a scenario where any of these three women walk out with the title. Um,
Yeah.
Maybe I'm a little bit sort of lower on thinking Rhea's gonna win it because she just had it. I'm I I'm gonna go with this is a hard one. It's a hard one. I'm gonna go with Bianca to win. Because it's been a while since she's had a singles title. Um, but the only thing
It's
that
been a
makes
while.
me hesitant about it is because Io just won the belt, and do they want to have her? Because remember, she lost the other title to Bailey last year at
Right,
WrestleMania.
right.
So do they want to have Io drop a women's title 2 years in a row at WrestleMania? That's kind of, so that's kind of what has me thinking that maybe she'll retain. And then maybe this sort of a trio feud kind of carries on for another month into Backlash, maybe. Um, but I also just kind of think, we might be seeing Bianca get a solo title for the first time in a while. And I've been kind of sensing a little bit of a heelish kind of turn for Bianca that could be brewing here. I couldn't really see it a couple of months ago when everybody was kind of speculating on who was it that attacked Jade. I was thinking, okay, it was either Bianca or it was Naomi. And my money was kind of on Naomi because I feel like Naomi could wear that heel role a little bit more so than Bianca could. So at that time, I couldn't really see Bianca turning. But the way things have kind of gone over the last few weeks with her, it kind of seems like a heel turn could be brewing for her. And, there's a little bit of on screen tension between her and Jade, perhaps too, because Jade's not happy with her as
Right.
well. And like, does that mean Bianca wins the women's world title? And then that starts a thing between her and Jade, perhaps. But then, like, what happens with Rhea and Io at that point,
Right.
So that's why this is the hardest match for me to predict. But I'll go with Bianca winning the title. I'll go with that theory and Bianca walking out with the gold.
You can't be told you're wrong with anything that you said right there, bud. But for my official prediction, if you will, I just think that everything that's setting this up, Io has been the forgotten one.
Yeah,
She is sick and tired of Bianca and Rhea saying,
she's
no,
so awesome,
yeah,
man.
yeah, yeah.
All three of these
Like,
women are fantastic.
yeah, right. Like, dude, I got the belt. I mean, I know I'm the smallest of the three, and you guys keep pushing me in the face and disrespecting me, but the last couple of promos, she's come out and taken advantage of. It said, "Hey, no, you girls got to look at me because I'm the one with the belt." And like every time she goes back out, she's not walking back with her back to anybody. She's backpedaling with that belt, letting them to know, "Hey, I'm still the champion until one of you two decide to quit goofing off with each other and try to come get it from me. And if you're not going to come get it from me, I'm going to keep it." And I absolutely love Io. Her
She's great.
personality And
He's
her,
awesome.
just her spunk, she has so many fans from Japan where wrestling is just huge. And she has a giant following. And she's fantastic. She's
She's
going to keep
great in
this
the
thing,
ring.
Manny.
She is
Yep.
so good in the ring, man. She's so good.
She's gonna win it with something beautiful, like she kind of always does. Same with like Tiff and her the prettiest moonsault. You just know that she's gonna do something just cool. Well, Io's gonna win it with something cool, and it's gonna be awesome. And the other two are gonna go off on their own little thing and beat the you know what out of each other at Backlash, and that's gonna be so much fun.
And it's entirely possible. Sometimes we see the wrestlers that don't come out on top at WrestleMania or any other kind of PLE. Sometimes they take a little time off.
Right.
Rhea's been on a run. I know she missed some time last year with the injury and everything, but she's been really working her tail off and working hard and been awesome since she came back from the injury. So this
Yeah.
could be a time where maybe she doesn't win this title and takes a couple months off and then makes a big return and comes back fresher and goes after the women's world title again. Okay, so I got Bianca winning. You've got Io winning. Okay, we've got about 8 minutes before our second meeting runs out on this. This is why we call it the cheap pops, because we're not getting Zoom Pro, at least not yet.
Yeah.
All right, and it times out perfectly because we have just one more match to talk about right now. We'll see what happens with Randy Orton. Maybe Randy gets added. He wants to fight Nick Aldis at WrestleMania. We'll see if that actually happens. We're recording this on Wednesday night. So we'll see if that gets added in, and if it does, then maybe we'll jump on for a couple minutes and talk about that one. But anyway, biggest match of night two is obviously the main event, the final match of the weekend. Cody Rhodes defending the undisputed title against John Cena, who's on his retirement tour. I'll start, Tuck. I mentioned before, I think Seth Rollins is going to steal the weekend and just steal the show. I think John Cena wins his 17th championship and sets the record. And I think he's going to do it with the shocking help of Seth Rollins. And I think Seth is going to go with a full-fledged heel turn, and he's going to screw Cody, cost him the title a year after helping him win the title. I think we're going to get hit with a major Seth Rollins heel turn, screwing Cody Rhodes out of the title. John Cena wins title number 17. And I think this could lead to Cody Rhodes maybe taking some time off, because you got to think about this too, Tuck. Cody has done a phenomenal job as champion for the last year, and he's been going pretty hard.
Right.
He's been showing up, he's doing all these interviews, traveling, even on nights when he's not wrestling, he's showing up and doing shows. He's been working really hard. I can totally see maybe a couple month hiatus for Cody Rhodes, you know, dropping the title to John Cena and then eventually coming back later on this year and maybe winning it back from John. But I think this is going to lead to Cody taking some time off afterwards. And I think it's well deserved, because he's been awesome as the quarterback of the company, so to speak, as he's been referred to. So yeah, that's my prediction. I think Cena wins with the help of a newly turned heel Seth Rollins, and then Cody takes some time off, and Cena goes on a little mini run here as undisputed champion in his swan song, and then eventually, Cena might have this thing all the way till the end of the year when he's going to be done, and then that ends up being it for him, is him dropping the title, maybe dropping it back to Cody or something later this year. So that's what I got.
First of all, I got to pick up my chin still from when my mouth opened when you said that Seth was going to pull off a heel turn after winning earlier in Wrestle. I mean, holy moly, Manny. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I mean, I want to, and you know too that I've kind of been wishy-washy on this one too, because it's like everybody's kind of predicting that Cena's gonna now win the belt because of the heel turn and his association with The Rock and all this other stuff. But what people are forgetting is that Stone Cold Steve Austin, who lives in Nevada, not far away from Vegas, is gonna be there at the Hall of Fame and most likely gonna make some kind of appearance. You'd think something big always happens during WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Does Austin come out and help Cody? We know that they respect each other a ton, and the whole Cena heel turn and kayfabe, side of things. Austin's not gonna like that. He ain't gonna. He knows he's rest. No, he's gonna be like, "What are you doing, John?" And does he come in and maybe stun him, and then Cody wins? Then this continues because Cena starts whining. Because remember, he's going to be at the Raw after WrestleMania, and he's been the only one advertised. Maybe Cena loses and comes back whining, saying, "Well, Stone Cold interfered. You didn't win, clean, whatever." And this keeps going because who the hell is Cena going to take on after he wipes out Cody? Where's the story going
You
until
got
Cena's
options though.
done?
You got
Right?
options
Yeah,
though.
you
You
do.
got Punk, you got Roman, although Roman might take some time off.
Right.
Um, you got Randy. You got some guys that could, I think this is a chance that where Cena's gonna win the title and go on a 5, 6, 7 month run with the title and just fighting off guys. And SummerSlam becomes a big match. And yeah,
I'm just
that's
I'm gonna say Cody to be different, just
okay.
because so many people are guessing, and if I heard somebody right, like, is there ways to bet on how these matches are gonna go? That's kind of ridiculous, right? Because they're you
I
know
don't know
you
if you I don't
I
know
don't
if
think you can
there's a
really like
legitimate way
bet.
that you can.
Right,
Yeah, just
legit.
because
Come
it's
on.
scripted stuff, it's scripted
Right.
stuff. And
It's
yeah,
hard to like, but if anybody says, well, so and so is something to some odds of winning. I mean, and any professional prognosticator is saying, oh, well, this is where Cena wins it. I'm just gonna be different. I'm just gonna say Cody hangs on. I mean, I so see your side though about, he needs some time off. He really
yeah.
needs some time off. So I don't know. I mean, I'm just to be different. I'm going to say Cody actually wins this thing, and the Cena Cody thing isn't done yet either. But something weird happens in the process that makes that match still worthwhile. Because of, like you said, a heel turn or a Stone Cold appearance or something crazy is going to happen. They ain't going to just leave it as like someone's going to pin somebody. Something crazy is going to happen. What is that going to be? I don't know, but I'll just say Cody still wins.
Okay. We got 1 minute left before Zoom cuts us off. And there we go. We timed it out good, bro. I love it.
It's perfect.
Yeah. Awesome.
Hopefully
All right.
everybody checks it out.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to revisit this again next week. We'll recap WrestleMania and see how wrong we were or how right we were. And looking forward to it. All right, Tuck, this was fun. First episode of Cheap Pops is in the books. And
Let's go.
thanks to whoever listened and whoever's following us. And we're going to keep doing this because Tuck and I love talking wrestling. So thanks for watching. And we'll talk to you next week. Recap WrestleMania.
Cool.